going on, everyone? It's 7 o'clock. Welcome to FNL Fantasy Night Live, presented to you by the Fantasy Football Network. I'm here with a special guest, a special fill-in, Canada's own, the Six God, JV, part of the JV show. What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to be on and talk some fantasy.
For sure, for sure. You guys, I'm at a Christmas party, but you know what? As fantasy shot callers would say, fantasy is life, so the show must go on. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the air on this thing now, and let's get straight to it. Oh, let me pull up the comments just in case we got anyone in the chat. Show chat. There we go. And we got Indianapolis at Houston. Obviously, we're gonna start JT. Probably Pittman as least flex appeal. How do you feel about Wentz?
The thing with me is that JT's been so dominant that Wentz is he's for me he's a filler. He's not starting in any of my leagues, of course, unless you're in a two quarterback league, I think, or in a really big league. Obviously starting JT. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to start Wentz because the Texans are the Texans right now. But if you have a different option, I would go a different route. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think you're right because it's like almost like the Derrick Henry, Tannehill effect. It's like Henry's so good that it's difficult to trust someone like that of a Ryan Tannehill. JT has gotten to that point where he's so good and they run him so well, and the offensive line is just gelling so well that it's hard to trust Wentz week to week. I think he's QB 11 right now, which is surprising.
Yeah,
but it's not consistent. And I'm with you. If you don't have Aaron Rodgers this week, or you don't have Cam Newton this week, if for whatever reason Cam Newton is your starting quarterback, you know, he's a filler, but not week to week. And I don't think you need to roster him. On the other side, Houston, let's go rocking the Santa. That's right, man. What's up, Mr. Sarcastic? I'm at a ugly sweater party, the fantasy football Santa. I got my work. I'm not at home. I'm about 40 minutes from home. Brought the computer. The show must go on. I got my brother JV with me. You got any questions? Hit us up, man. I'm not trusting anyone in Houston. Maybe Cooks if I'm desperate.
Yeah, Cooks possibly in the flex. And I also, for Wentz, I mean, guys who had Hurts in their starting lineup, he just went out. I think today the news came in. So I guess we'll get to that later on in the show. But again, Wentz is an option for there. I think Wentz, as far as just a football standpoint, is a perfect fit for the Indianapolis offense. But when you look at fantasy relevance, I don't know for sure with the way JT's been playing, but he's working for the Colts, and they're not really looking to put up fantasy points as a team just to win games. So, that's my thoughts on Wentz for this week at least.
For sure. We got Minnesota at Detroit. No Cook. Any thoughts on Madison? He should eat Detroit. Yeah. I mean, it's opportunity.
Yeah, I'm starting basically every Vikings offensive player this week. I mean, when you're playing against the Lions, I don't see why you wouldn't. Madison's an automatic start. He should get at least a touchdown and 100 yards. Kirk, with the way he's been playing, having a fantastic year. I think record year for him. And obviously Thielen and Jefferson, both top tier receivers this week against the Lions. I'm literally starting anybody on the Vikings offense. Just give me anybody, even if it's a backup tight end. You never know.
Right. Conklin. Are you a believer in Williams for what, like probably a rental? I think Swift's eventually going to come back. Flex appeal, RB2. What are your expectations?
It's tough. I mean, I'm gonna say he has the potential to put up the RB2. I'd play him in the flex this week, but I think obviously Swift. I think he's coming back this year, from what I saw. Yeah, but I think that he has potential this week. Again, the Lions, somebody has to produce there. So I'd say he's a flex play for me this week. Could put up RB2 numbers, but that's just keep your hopes high, I guess. But don't expect too much out of him. Don't expect like RB1 numbers, obviously, coming out of him this week.
Yeah, I believe in game script, he's really versatile in the passing game. I can see him giving fair flex appeal, low end RB2. probably doesn't score a touchdown, but maybe he can have 5 to 6 receptions, full PPR. He could be helpful. He could be like that Naheem Hines. Obviously, we're probably going to play Hawkinson if you have him. I don't think
Right.
there's a tight end on the waiver wire that you're going to start over Hawkinson. I'm desperate at wide receiver this week, and I might have to roll with Devontae Smith with Minshew starting. You know what? You never know, man. Minshew helped get a combination of Minshew and Foles helped second-year receiver DJ Chark get 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
Minshew's not bad. There are worse. It's not Mason Rudolph. Minshew's got a little bit of grit. We'll see. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Minshew mania. I mean, I didn't think he was too bad back in Jacksonville. Obviously, not good enough to start now, but he had a few good games in him that I watched him play. I mean, he was, all style after I think the Jags won like 4 with him when he was, first starting out. As you mentioned, there's worse backups in the league. I think NFL teams overall have just been getting better backups this year, but I think Minshew, if you got to start Devonta Smith, you got to start him. He's not a favorable start, but there could be worse starts, I think, this week, as we'll probably get into later in the show. But I think that Devonta Smith could have upside for at least a touchdown in him this week. If you're playing him in your flex, I don't think that's a terrible option.
Yep, I'm right there with you. New York Giants at Miami. Not a whole lot to be happy about in New York. Saquon, I mean, if you got him, if you drafted him and you traded for him or you rostered him, you obviously have to play him versus Miami.
Yeah. I don't know. Both these teams have just they've been on and off this year. I want to hear what your thoughts are on about Gaskin this week, because it's just, he's been just a disappointment all season long, period. And I don't even know if I'm going to be starting him this week at all.
He's I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the quarterback. One week it's Tua, one week it's Jacoby. I thought he'd see more work with Brown going down, but it seems like Matt Breida has carved out a nice little niche. I have him in your league, and I haven't played him for like 3 weeks. I think maybe since that London game, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to trust him. But 1 week he'll get you 19, the other week he'll get you 3, and that's not going to get it done. If you're desperate, obviously play him, but other than that, I wouldn't touch him. Waddle is heating up, man. I think wide receiver 4 since after week 4, I believe. So week 5 to now, he's been wide receiver 4. He is a wide receiver 12 right now. So he's a wide receiver 1, and great value if you picked him up or if you traded for him. I don't trust anyone else on that Dolphins team.
Yeah, no, definitely no Tua this week for me, or all season period. Waddle again. He's a guy that I liked in the offseason. I didn't talk about him too much, but I was higher on him, especially picking him up in later rounds. And then just back to Gaskin, another guy who just flew right over my head is that they added Phillip Lindsay. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but it's just that backfield just doesn't look as we expected it from the offseason. So I think just general in this matchup, I'm staying far away from almost everybody unless I have Saquon, but I don't have him personally in any league. So unless you got to roll with Danny Dimes, like unless there's really nobody else left, I would be sticking far away from anybody in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't trust any of the New York receivers either. It's just bad when you don't address year after year. You don't address the offensive line. This is what happens in reality and in fantasy football. It's just hard to trust anyone. Moving on to Tampa at Atlanta. I started Tom Brady versus Atlanta week 2, and he didn't do that well. He didn't do bad. But obviously you're firing up every Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. Both receivers should bounce back. Gronk is there. Brady's there. Lenny's there. It's no brainer. How do you feel about Atlanta versus Tampa?
Right. Obviously, as you had said, starting every Buccaneer. Atlanta, I'm starting Cordarrelle Patterson this week. Even though the Bucs have a solid defense, I think that Patterson, he's a must start every week right now. He's an RB1. He's putting up 10, 20 points every single week. He's worked in the pass and run game. So I'm starting him regardless. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kyle Pitts, I think, again, you just got to start him. I know the Bucs defense is tough, but the way he's been playing this season, I don't think you can bench him this week.
You're not going to find anyone else on the waiver wire who's better unless you
Yeah.
you rostered someone else. So I agree with you. Patterson and Pitts, that's the only people I would trust on that roster. We got one. We got Elijah Moore or Christian Kirk. Elijah Moore plays Philly with no hurts on offense, so we don't know what that offense is going to look like. The defense could be tired. Arizona is playing Chicago. We think Kyler's going to play.
Give me more, though. This week, literally any week, honestly, Elijah Moore, I have him. I rostered him a few weeks back, and he's just been spectacular. So I like Elijah Moore. I don't know what you think, but he's my guy this week.
I like it. If Henderson plays, do I play him or Sony? I mean, if he plays, he's probably going to get the workload, right?
Yeah, I would probably roll Henderson. I won't go Michelle this week. I don't see him having a big week at all.
Yeah.
Rams are playing the Jags, so I think you got a good matchup regardless who you start there. But I would go Henderson there if he plays.
Yeah, if Henderson plays, I think you have to start him because if he couldn't produce, then they'd just rest him.
Right.
Man, they're starting to come in now. I have Hurts and I grab Minshew. I'm in a super flex and I have Herb. Should I start Jacoby Myers versus the Bills or stick with Minshew as my super flex? So we're debating Jacoby or Minshew, and they play the Jets. I like Minshew. Jacoby Myers only has one touchdown in his career.
Yeah, even though Mac Jones has been playing really good, Bills defense really good against the pass, at least from what I saw. And I think Minshew, I think you just got to start him there over Jacoby, at least in this scenario. I think he has the most upside to get you the most points against the Jets. I really think that's your best option.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. One thing that makes Mac Jones, Matt, how about my hot take? Breaks the rookie record for come on, bro. I told you. It's holding true strong so far. But one thing that makes Mac Jones really well is that he just throws to the open receiver. So it's not like Myers is the guy who's getting forced targets. Like Ben would always force feed AB and a lot of times throw more interceptions than he needed to because he's trying to feed. It's not like Myers is Michael Thomas 2019 where he's getting just a forced fed. If he's not open, Jones is going to look to the open guy. So that for NFL purposes, that's great. That's smart. For fantasy purposes, for that reason, I will stick with Minshew versus the Jets.
Yeah, he also hopped in here and said that his opponent has Brady and Dalton. So I think again, I think I'm rolling with Minshew regardless there.
Yeah. Philly at New York.
Yeah, Hurts is a bummer this week. I had him in a few of my leagues, and I needed him this week in a few of my leagues, so that's going to be tough. As I mentioned, I like Moore this week for the Jets. And I think even though Sanders hasn't had the season he's had that we'd like him to have, I think you got to start him this week because of the injury to Hurts. He's going to get fed, so I don't think that there's really another option, at least in your flex position.
Yeah. Jets are in the bottom 8 versus the run. So we could see a heavy, what we've kind of been praying for, those Miles Sanders owners that have shares. This is, the week where he should do at least 14 touches minimum, bar injury. Maybe you start Smith at flex with Minshew. Other than that, I'm not touching anyone. And on the Jet side, outside Elijah Moore, I'm not touching anyone else. Michael Carter's down. I don't trust either running back. I don't trust Corey Davis. It was a contract year last year. He showed a lot of potential and why he was a 4th overall pick, but he got paid, and he just hasn't been consistent this year.
Yeah. Sanders again. Jets. I think one of the worst against the run, as you mentioned. What are your thoughts on Boston Scott this week? Because again, Hurts out, he could get a little bit of action along with Miles Sanders.
Possible smart play. I know when everyone thought it was going to be the Gainwell show and swore by it, and Boston Scott, Jordan Howard really showed up. Um, I don't know if I want to go flex appeal because Miles Sanders, for the most part, is healthy. He doesn't have any. He's not on the injury report. At least last I checked, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really, really desperate and you're like in a deeper, maybe a 14 team league, maybe you could start Boston Scott. I mean, the upside potential is there. Uh, it's just will he get the opportunity? Because we've seen what he can do when he gets the opportunity. It it's just the main guy is there.
Right. And before we hop over to the comment here, just adding on to that, Sanders was taken off the injury report this just yesterday, and it looks like Scott is actually dealing with an illness. I wasn't aware of that, but he will be a game time decision. So even
Mm,
more incentive to start Sanders there, but keep an eye out on Scott as he still
I
could
like
get a
it.
few touches in that game.
Says I'm nervous for Debo out, Hurts out. My team is 5-5. I'm facing elimination this week. The number one is and you're facing the number one who's 11-1. Hey, I'm gonna pour out some liquor for you, Mike. Tune in Monday for fantasy football safe space. I'll be there so you can come vent, brother. That's my other show I got with the network. Shout out to Fantasy Football Network. If you guys have just 3 seconds, real quick, if you guys can hit that like button, I appreciate it. It's Mr. Sarcastic at Mike. Damn good.
That's
Jesus.
tough. That is it's gonna ruin your whole mood all week. I'm telling you, man. That's what fantasy does to you. You're gonna be down all week, and
Yeah.
all the people around you when they ask you what's wrong, you just show them the Yahoo Fantasy app or whatever you're using, and that's all you got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I have Leonard Fournette, so I don't want Gronk to just like eat everything. But I'll be praying for at least a tug of a biscuit, or should I say, one of Santa's cookies this week? I won't say biscuits.
Mhm.
That's usually what my term for a touchdown is. So I'll say a cookie since I got the Santa suit on. I'm surprised you can't hear any of this background noise. It's like 30 people downstairs playing card games and enjoying the eggnog a little too much.
No, it's all
But
good. It
hey,
gives that party environment and brings it to
hey,
life.
come on, man! These people need us to come through. Just lost last week. Oh, 54 to
That's
55.3. Jeez, Mike. Were you in safe space, Mike? Because you definitely would have been a VIP member. Um, let's see. Trying to take these off the screen. There we go. Hit us up with any sit questions, man. Any comments, let us know. Please go follow, if you guys are on Instagram, go follow the JV Show. Simple. The JV Show. Doesn't get any easier than that, man. Dude is very, very talented, growing in the industry. And I'm glad you could fill in for my brother Media, man. Thank you for joining me.
100%, man. Happy to be on here. Another comment popping up just now. Had Antonio Gibson and was praying for OT. And yeah, you saw. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah. It's rough, man. It's hard out here for a pimp. We've got Arizona at Chicago. I don't know what to make of this game, this Arizona team. D Hop, Murray, freaking James Conner, top 10 running back.
Yeah.
This, yeah, this for me is like throwing darts in the dark, man. I don't know
Mhm.
what can happen. Chicago's got a decent defense still. It's not elite like it once was.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters to be honest. I'm starting Murray if he plays. I don't know
Yeah.
what his injury report is looking like, but I'm starting him. I'm starting the Cards offense. I know he said Christian Kirk behind Elijah Moore, but if you got to start Kirk again, I don't think that's a bad matchup.
Mm,
And then on the Bears side, I've been a big believer in Mooney ever since the season started. I've liked how
yeah.
he's been playing. I think A-Rob is questionable to come back this week. Even if he's back, I think Mooney is going to produce at least 8 to 10 points,
Yep.
which is going to be good for you if you're playing him in a flex. But other than that, Bears lineup looking a little bit shaky right now against a pretty good Cards defense.
Yeah, I have to start Monty
Yeah.
with Hendo questionable and Cook out. Just what it is. But I'm not happy about the matchup. I have realistic expectations. I know he's playing the Cardinals. I know Justin Fields has struggled to grasp the Nagy system,
Hmm.
and if I can get double digit points, I'll take it. I'll take it. I won't even complain if he gets me 10.2.
Right.
See, Mike, should I trade J Herb and Eckler and make the move right now to solidify my roster? Who would you trade them for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. We got to know who you trade for. Maybe give us your roster breakdown or dynamic.
Hmm.
Chargers at the Bengals. You think this is going to be fireworks, or we got the
Yeah.
sophomore QBs?
No, give me fireworks. I think this is going to be a big, big matchup. Just start me literally everybody. I think Herb's going to have a good game. I like Eckler always. Allen, I see getting a touchdown there. And then on the Bengals side, Burrow, I think he's got 2 or 3 TDs in him. And I think Jamar Chase has a rebound game. He's had a little bit of a slump, but I think that he bounces back this week.
Yeah, I like it. Obviously, you got to start everyone. I like T Higgins as a flex play, Chase as a wide receiver one, wide receiver two, kind of
Mhm.
on that edge. Obviously, you're starting Mixon. Burrow, if you need him, play him. He hasn't been stellar. He's kind of been inconsistent.
Yeah.
But that happens when you have a bad O line. The difference between him and Danny Dimes is he doesn't turn the ball over as much, and he has a great supporting cast of weapons. But I mean, O line's pretty bad in Cincinnati. But the worst team versus the run is the Chargers.
Hmm.
So I mean, I expect probably over 50 points, maybe
Yeah.
31-28, 34-31. Should be a good game. Renfro versus Washington or Myers versus Buffalo. I like Renfro personally.
Same.
He's been
Yeah.
solid, man. He's been solid. Uh, Obviously, uh, Cordero is the waiver wire pickup of the season, but Renfro has been a solid flex player pretty much all year.
Yeah. Mike, I mean, I know you want Jacoby Myers. I know everybody's waiting for him because he's got the talent. We talked about it a little bit like
Yep.
10 minutes ago. But Darren Waller's out. They got to throw it to somebody. Renfro's going to be the guy there. I mean, I don't see anybody else getting fed the ball. So I'm playing Renfro. And even if Jacoby Myers blows up, I'm not feeling bad that I played Renfro because that was the right play at the time.
Mm. Yeah. No Ruggs, no Waller. Fire up Renfro for me. But if you feel like Jacoby's that guy, there's no Tre'Davious White. But I mean,
Yeah.
Buffalo still got a strong defense, man. Maybe game script. Yeah, well, I don't know. That's a tough one, but I like Renfro a little bit. I lean Renfro. I'll say that.
Mhm.
Um, Jacksonville at Los Angeles Rams.
You're starting the Rams. Um, Everything. I don't see why you wouldn't. Stafford, yes. Cup, yes. OBJ, yes. After what we saw last week, Henderson, we talked about a little bit before. We're kind of between him and Michelle. But I say Henderson, and then obviously I think the defense has a pretty good game as well. And then on the Jacksonville side of the ball, I don't know. What are your thoughts from Jacksonville? Who are you starting?
Maybe J Rob. That's it. I don't
Yeah.
trust Laviscus. I didn't trust him this offseason. I thought he was kind of a hype job.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't trust Marvin Jones. I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. DJ Chark is out for the year. I think Arnold is on IR. He was like a bright spot for them for a little bit if you were needing a safe tight end. Other than that, I don't trust. I mean, if you have J Rob, I think you have to play him.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I think you can pretty much fade the entire Jacksonville offense.
Yeah, that's how it's been all season. I'm starting J Rob this week, no question. And it's really been disappointing because Marvin Jones, oh, he looked so good for a while there. Him and Lawrence were just connecting. And I was sitting back and I was like, damn, like I'm a genius. I was talking about him all off season, and then it declined. Like it hasn't been the same since, week 6, week 7 when he was just blowing up. And I don't have him rostered at all anymore, just because the Jags they're not the team that we kind of hope that they could maybe evolve into this season. They're just not the
Right.
team.
You know, I was never a believer in Urban Meyer.
He's too busy at the strip clubs, man. I'm telling you.
Dude. Full PPR, pick 3 and 2 must be a wide receiver. Pittman, McLaurin, Montgomery, Saquon, and Ayuk. So we got to pick 3, and 2 of them have to be receivers. Are we on board with Pittman and McLaurin?
Yeah, I'm taking Pittman and McLaurin over Ayuk any day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. And now it comes down to Monty versus Arizona, Saquon versus Miami.
And I think
I don't think
Ayuk's
we're
just
really-
out the door.
Yeah, I'm me personally. I kind of wrote off Ayuk and watch him have that 25-point game that he's good for every 4 or 5 weeks because it's been about 4 or 5 weeks. But I'll go safer floor, and I'll either go with Monty or Saquon. I'm kind of torn between this one. Obviously, Saquon's the better back, but
with the way the Giants have been playing, oh, this is so tough. I'm gonna go Saquon just because the Cards defense is so good, and I trust Saquon to possibly get something done against the Dolphins. But it's really a toss up here. Like, you could really choose either one. I think both of them have the same kind of expectation heading into Week 13.
Yeah. I could see Saquon getting a little involved in the passing game. Mm-hmm. So I'll lean Saquon, especially if it's full PPR. Oh, it is full PPR. Yep. So I'll go Pittman, McLaurin, Saquon with you. He was saying, I was thinking Ayuk because Samuel is out, but it's close to playoffs. That's true, man. Ayuk played his best ball when Debo and I think Kittle were down. Kittle's still there, but you giving me something to calculate and think about.
Yep.
San Francisco plays Seattle. Their defense isn't intimidating. I think Jamal Adams has as many interceptions as Vince Wilfork. But I think you just play it safe and go with Pittman, McLaurin, man.
Yeah, I think it's the Kittle show this week. And even if Ayuk plays good, again, he's so inconsistent. It's ridiculous. After week 3, I just dumped him. I already saw it. It just wasn't going to happen this year. Ayuk just wasn't the guy we expected.
Oh, Mr. Sarcastic. Said McLaurin's going to cook my Raiders. Are you trying to do that reverse psychology where it's like, oh, man, Lamar's going to kill my Steelers, and then, like, Lamar has 4? Are you trying to do that little reverse psychology, put that in the ethos?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something with fantasy, man. Right. You gotta try everything.
Whatever works. Sometimes I got to go use the restroom, and I'll hold it because Pittsburgh's up.
Exactly.
Like, I won't go until they get scored on.
Right.
So we got Washington. Hey, speaking of the devil, we got Washington at Las Vegas, and I'll pull up that comment.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk about the comment first, and then head to the game, just so we don't get off track here. Yeah, Daniel Jones does reeks logic. They might run the ball a little bit more. I'll go Pittman, Terry, and Saquon. Yeah, I'm pretty confident within that. I see Saquon possibly getting into the end zone, especially against the Finns here. So I got Saquon.
If you guys take a quick moment, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you haven't liked the button, hit the like button yet. Just please take 3 minutes and hit that like button. We really appreciate it. And if you really, really have some time, go to Instagram and follow the JB Show. That is the JB Show. It's on the man's hat. I got my merch coming soon.
That's right.
Finally, we were able to make it happen.
It's coming.
I had to convert some US dollars to CAD. It took me some time, but it's on the way.
No worries, man.
Washington at Las Vegas. Gibby, McLaurin, if you're desperate, Heineke, Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I was super high on Logan Thomas last year. He was so good, and then he went out on IR this year. I think that he could have a big week. I guess if you're desperate, if you need a tight end start this week, I would start him. I don't think I would be decently confident in that. I'm starting Heineke this week just because in a 12-man league and I had Hurts and he's out.
Gotcha.
It was like there was nobody else on waivers that I was confident in. And I had the opportunity to pick up Taysom, but I didn't take him this week because I was like, I was tempted, but I was like, no, Hurts is gonna play. He said he's gonna play. He came out. He's playing the Jets. They're gonna start this guy. He's gonna get 3 touchdowns, and now we're rolling with Minshew. So I guess Heineke if you're desperate. And then on the other side of the ball, again, Renfro. What are your thoughts on Derek Carr this week, though?
If you're in a desperate spot, you know what's crazy is that Derek Carr consistently throughout the season has been top 3, top 4 in yards.
Really?
But it just hasn't translated to like good or great fantasy play. I had to play him in a spell for a couple bye weeks in different leagues, and it's I don't know. It's just not clicking. I don't know if it's the lack of weapons. No Waller, obviously no Ruggs. G-Jax got kind of always boomer bust. I mean, that's who he is. That's who he's been for his career.
Yeah.
So I will. I'll pass on him versus Washington. I know they don't have Young. You gonna go downstairs? All right. Be safe. I'll be up here.
Mean, Washington, they're not good against the pass, but I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't trust Derek Carr. He's averaging throughout the season. I say Derek Carr's averaging around 15, just overlooking his games here. But other than that, like Derek Carr, he's just not the play this week, I don't think. Unless you're in a desperate situation, obviously. But if you got another option that your gut's telling you to go for, I would go otherwise because he's missing Darren Waller, who's really that top option in the offense.
Yeah. Maybe Jacobs, if he, assuming he, suits up. I think that's about it. Come on, bro. We staying in and out.
The kids say baby.
The kids say baby? All right.
I'm going to go say baby to me.
Yeah.
I'm a baby.
Oh, okay. My bad, y'all. I had to bring my little one to a party, and hence the Santa suit. Here you go. Here you go. A little bit of Cocomelon for you. I'm not pro screen time, but fantasy is life. Shout out to Fantasy Football Shot Callers, and check out their show Stacking Studs. Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is less of a fantasy matchup for me more than I just want to watch the game. Because it's just heated divisional rivalry. Like you want to watch that. But when we're talking from a fantasy standpoint, give me Lamar this week.
Andrews.
Give me Andrews, of course. And then other than that, like what do you think about Freeman? Like he's kind of been he's just been there like over these past few weeks, and I haven't really looked into him at all. But are you starting him? Are you sitting him? Where are you standing with Freeman?
I'm playing him against you this week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm playing Freeman over Hendo. I lost Cook. I lost Dalvin Cook. I got Monty in a nasty matchup versus Arizona. So I'm actually going to roll with Freeman just because I do think he outtouches Hendo, and I don't think Hendo – I'm curious if Hendo even plays, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He hasn't been great, but he's been nice in a few spots. That offense is predicated on the run. They've led the league in rushing the last 3 years. Obviously, he's not Dobbins or what's my other man's name that I draft? Gus Edwards. Right. It's not Dobbins or Edwards, but he'll get the job done. If you need a flex, that's where I have him as my flex.
Yeah, Freeman, since the bye week, actually, week 8, he's been averaging around 15 rush attempts per game, plus possibly a few catches here and there. He's getting around 18 to 20 touches on the ball per week. So anybody other than you, I suggest start him. Other than that, I'm saying, bench him, just get him off your lineup, start Monty, whatever you got other than Freeman. But yeah, you know what? If you got to roll with him, I'd say roll with him. It's completely fine this week.
Yeah. Yeah, your league, man. I don't think I've ever had more injured players in my life than your league, dude. I mean, I drafted J.K. Dobbins literally like 14 hours before he tore his ACL.
That's ridiculous. I
Yeah,
remember just
I mean, Julio, Dalvin Cook. No one will. I have Herbert and Brady. No one will trade me.
that's
Yeah, I've got
Love to
Herbert
watch
and
it, buddy.
Brady, dude, all year. I took Herbert in the 7th, Brady in the 9th, and I start the wrong one each week. That's. Go get one. You can have one cookie. Close the door, please. Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep. You know
So-
what? This week I had a rough go in our league. I benched that Dallas defense for the Colts because the Colts are playing Houston. I mean,
Yeah.
and then that Cowboys get a touchdown. It's like, come on, guys. Like, are you being for real with me right now? Like, man, it was tough. It's okay. I still have faith in the Colts. I have faith in the Colts, but it was a tough go. It was a tough go.
Right. Yeah, I think we were the 2 platinums. I think there was like 1 diamond and 2 platinums in that league, or maybe 3 platinums.
Right.
And I'm just getting the snot beat out of me this year all around. So I took Gus Edwards in my other leagues, and my other Yahoo leagues. So I didn't have a 3rd round pick in all of my leagues. Let's see. We've got Freeman would have had a biscuit last week, but he stopped at the 1. Yeah, man, that was brutal. That was rough. Hence the Santa suit. We're calling them cookies this week. A cookie. Let's see. Need Miles Sanders to make up for Ingram tomorrow since Sean Payton gave all of his targets to Ty freaking Montgomery. Hey, man, you're welcome to come to Fantasy Football Safe Space on Monday. We can hear. We can drink the pain away. That sucks, man. I hate when coaches do that. That just shows, that they don't care about fantasy football. This is just us geeks.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Hey,
if you need a place to vent, come to the Safe Space Monday. Pittsburgh, obviously you can start Najee, DJ. What do you think about Claypool as a flex? Nah.
No, I'm not feeling. I haven't liked Claypool all season. Anybody in that Steelers offense other than Najee this year it's just not an interest of mine. Big Ben he's not the guy that the Steelers fans think. He's not the guy that the Steelers fans think he is. Like, he's past his prime. His time is done. I don't like Claypool this week, but I would be open to hearing your thoughts on him.
No, I think it's time to. I think last year was the time to hang it up. He came back from that injury. He showed he had some grit. He's always had grit. He's always had something. He's like Wolverine or like AI. Remember, it's like elbow arthritis. He's got a pinky, nose cartilage, whatever. It's like always something with Ben, man, and he's always been able to fight through it. So 2-time Super Bowl champion, multiple Pro Bowls. Nothing to feel ashamed about. He's got more rings than Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the MVPs to back it up, but he'll probably get into the hall. Definitely Pittsburgh Ring of Honor, and I think it's time to let it go, man, before you really get hurt.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think
at this point, I think he's only kind of hampering the team. Offensive coordinator is not good. The new guy they got from Pittsburgh University, the University of Pittsburgh. But yeah, so they need to go get a guy, and I don't know if there's a guy in the draft that's worth taking in the middle in the teens where they'll probably be drafted.
Yeah, creds to Mike Tomlin though. He's been a great coach his entire career, and he's created a great team even with Ben at the helm. Ton of talent there, and I know I saw an interview of him getting talked about with college, and he's like, man, like, why would I leave this job? And if they fired him, which they're not, but if they did, it would just be such a big mistake because he's such a great coach from what he's done over his career, right? So, big believer.
He never had a season under 500, even when he had Mason and Duck as the. I just let Josh know to give you a cookie. Go ahead. Try one more time. Sorry about that, and please close the door. Thank you. Tomlin is a gamer. I think he's one of the coaches that can make something out of nothing. you got hot dogs, and you got some moldy bread. He's going to make a dish out of it somehow. San Francisco at Seattle. I think Trey Sermon just got put on IR. I don't know if that means anything. Mitchell seems to be the guy. What are your thoughts on him moving forward, and even both redraft and dynasty?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I'm taking him basically everywhere I can get him right now because with the way San Francisco's used them this year, I think that it just shows that they're, devoted in getting him touches, including him in this offense. And I think that, by the time next year hits, he's going to have a huge year. I'm just looking at his stats here, and he's averaging 10, 12 plus points every game. He had 27 rush attempts against the Rams. He had 27 rush attempts against Minneapolis, and he's getting, 6, 7 targets in the pass game. This guy is getting fed by San Fran. So I'm all in on Elijah Mitchell. Whenever, wherever, just give me him.
Yeah, I think redraft, maybe. I don't think Mostert's the guy anymore. I think maybe you can look at him as maybe a 3rd, 4th rounder, kind of like James Robinson this year before they drafted Etienne. Depending on what they do, but they drafted Trey Sermon early. They got Mitchell, and it looks like Mitchell's going to be their guy moving forward. Wilson's never healthy, and I feel like they don't trust Wilson for whatever reason. Wilson seems to be healthy right now, and he's not getting the touches, even when Mitchell was out. I think it was that 2 weeks ago I started Wilson. Start Ayuk if you're desperate and you need a flex play. Obviously, you're firing up Kittle. He's been a monster since he's been back. That's about it. I don't trust Jimmy G. Not even in a 2-quarterback league. He's not a bad quarterback. He's just that offense is predicated on the run. And that's why we're both high on Mitchell.
Yeah, exactly. And then from the Seahawks standpoint, do you have anybody from the Seahawks at this point?
No, I traded for Chris Carson thinking that he was going to come back, and that shot me in the foot. I traded Michael Carter and Chuba Hubbard after CMC was coming back. So I did a 2-for-1 thinking, maybe 2 or 3 weeks he'll be back, and he never came back. So I gave away Michael Carter and Chuba Hubbard for free, and now Chuba looks like the guy.
That is rough. I mean, Chris Carson, I had super high expectations for him because when he's been healthy, he's been an RB1. He's been top 12 RB. I looked at the stats, Fantasy Pros.
Yep.
When seasons where he's played 13, 14, 15, 16 games, he's been an RB1. So unfortunately, his career's just been riddled with injuries, but
he's the best value Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yes.
You know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know the talent's there, but you know the injury will be there as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing with of course, Dalvin and Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is the best vibe, or is the Walmart value of Chris Carson. It just keeps going down the ranks. Raheem Mostert, it's going to happen in week 3 or quicker. So he's just one of those running backs. Just tough that his career's, happened like that. But what are you going to do?
I feel like if you have DK, you have to play him. If you have Lockett, I feel like you have to play him. But I don't know. Russ just isn't healthy, and they don't have a running game. They don't have Carson. Rashad Penny was probably one of the worst first-round picks of the last. They didn't need him because they had Chris Carson, and then they went and paid Chris Carson. And I think they took him like 2022. They took him like mid-early 20s. He's not the guy. Dallas isn't the guy. Collins isn't the guy. Honestly, feel like they should just rest their players. Obviously, like you're going to start your receivers, but I don't see a reason to roll out Russ and risk further injury. Let him recover, get healthy, get a better draft pick for next year. I don't have any Seahawks, and I'm not buying any Seahawks. Not even the kicker.
No, nobody. I completely agree. Just rest Russ, rebuild for next year. Their division's too good to even make a playoff spot at the moment. And Tyler Lockett's just been so disappointing, period. I haven't even heard his name all season, to be honest, other than that one game where he blew up, which happens literally every year. I haven't heard his name at all.
Yeah. Looking at Seattle, they don't even have a first-round pick. because they traded for Jamal Adams. The
Right.
Jets own their pick. The Jets right now, I think, are targeting or their trajectory. I think they have pick 4 and 5
Really
because of their record and Seattle's record.
crazy.
I think they're both 3-win teams. Yeah, so Jets could be a problem if they can get a good GM in there. Sunday Night Football, Denver at KC.
Yeah, this one is a
Division.
toss-up.
Go ahead, go downstairs.
I think
there.
obviously you're starting Patty Mahomes. I think you're
Yeah.
obviously you're starting Hill and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Anybody else in that offense?
CEH. Flex.
Honestly, I haven't really heard too much about him. I don't have him rostered in any of my leagues this year. And he has been definitely disappointing. I know he was injured for a while there.
Sorry about that, man. This is
all good.
obviously not my my normal setup.
I think you could definitely roll with Clyde, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel too confident in it.
Yeah, I CEH for me, maybe flex if you need him. If not, play someone else.
Yeah.
On the other end, Judy and Javonte. I mean, no, Melvin Gordon's rolled out. This Javante's time.
Yeah.
KC, one of the worst defenses. Starting to play a little better now, which they normally do. They usually start off horrible on defense and they bring it together for a playoff run. But I think you got to start Javonte, and I think Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is moving forward is a target monster. Sutton, I think, is averaging 3 targets a game since his return,
which is crazy. I think.
Yeah, and then they offered him that contract.
Right.
I mean, go get your money. Go get your money. I'm not gonna hate it, but
yeah,
I don't know what the GM's doing.
Yeah, it was
last one. Oh.
No, go ahead. We'll go last one here.
No, I was just gonna say last one. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's been concerning to see Sutton do nothing with Jeudy gone, and with Jeudy doing so well before his injury, I think he's gonna resume in that position. So I say start him this week.
Yeah. New England at Buffalo, Monday Night Football. That, my friend, is going to be a really good game. That's probably one of the more. I don't tell a whole lot of people this. I know we're recording at this point. I don't think we have anyone in the chat. I don't watch football.
Really?
I'm just so busy with life. I do not watch football. I check Instagram. I check your page. I see what you're saying. I check Craze. That's how I kind of stay in the know. I check the NFL IG, and they'll show me the highlights. I think I've maybe watched 5 games all year.
Really?
Yeah. So now I'm at the point where the game just isn't the same for me to watch it. It's so everyone's so protected. There's just so many rule changes from when I grew up watching it, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
But this game intrigues me. It makes me want to go to a sports bar because I have all the kids apps. I have the Disney Pluses and all that stuff. Cocomelon and all that good jazz. This one makes me want to go get off work at 6 and go catch the second quarter until the end of the game. Division game. Okay, it's right there. You think you can handle it? It's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong. We got 11 minutes. We only got 11 minutes left because the chat's dead, and we got this game.
No,
give me 1 second. Let me help her out. I'll be right back.
No worries.
All right. My bad, man. This is.
No,
it hasn't been a nightmare, but it hasn't been I thought she'd play with the other kids. We're in someone else's home, so she's gonna go wherever I go.
Right, exactly. No, building off your point, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched nearly as much this year as I have in previous years. I've just been busy, period. But the other thing, and touching on your point, that I have noticed is that the NFL has gone a lot softer. It's no longer teams and players want to take each other's heads off. It's no longer they're battling out there. I want it to there's a point of safety that's nice. Like, I don't want players to be getting injured, but at the same time, like, I want guys like Ray Lewis back who are just going to go out there and feast and, drill people on defense, and guys jersey swapping after games. Like, if I was on one of those teams, I couldn't do it. Like, I would hate those guys. Like, I want to get a Super Bowl, and just watching them just be so happy after wins and losses. It's like, you guys got to have a little bit of emotion out there.
Right. Hey, I'll send you one in the mail. Or go buy one on Amazon. You got the cash.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean,
come on, kid.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's call it.
No worries.
Obviously, we're gonna start. Pat's running back. We're starting Diggs. We're starting Allen. Knox, not a bad play.
I think everybody is pretty good this game. Like, I mean, Patriots side, iffy, but if you need to start him, I say start him. It's just going to be a good game overall, is what I'm viewing it as.
Okay, let's go party. Hey, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This is FNL Fantasy Night Live, presented by the Fantasy Football Network. Please subscribe, hit the like button. I'm 7 o'clock. This is my brother from another.
Thank you, guys.
The sixth god himself. The real sixth god, JB from the JB show. Please like and subscribe. I gotta go. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, JB.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Peace out.